It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have thought we would have got this far. I thought we'd already be hot by now. That's just an opinion. But then if you start looking back at history, history has a tendency to repeat itself, right? Yeah. If we don't learn from history, we will continue to repeat itself. And something that happened way back in the day, and yes, I did actually bring notes this time. There was a series of events that our British friends put us through. First of all, we got involved with the French-Indian War, which had pretty much broke the British government. It broke England. It cost them a lot of money, so they had to figure out ways to build revenue. So to crunch this down as quickly as I can, they started putting out a series of acts. They put out the Quartering Act. They put out the Stamp Act. Am I correct? Or am I running wrong here? They put out all kinds of different acts to try to raise revenue and to try to figure out ways how to more and more put tyrannical pressure upon our colonists. It started coming to a head during the Boston Massacre. What was termed later or named the Boston Massacre. Patriots armed with snowballs and rocks, something to really be feared, they went out and attacked some British soldiers. At the end of that event, 3 of them lay dead. 2 more went up, and many were injured. And 2 later died from those wounds they received that day. Today's event we pulled together for a couple different reasons. Today's event we pulled together to remember the first patriots that fell in armed combat against an enemy on our soil, in a sense. We pulled this event together to remember the 8 fallen patriots at Lexington Green. April 19th, 1775. I consider that the beginning of personally consider that the beginning of the Revolutionary War, and I think everybody else pretty much does too. They were able to slow down a British column long enough for the rest of the militia, that evil word, or Minutemen, patriots, citizens, colonists, future Americans, they were able to slow that column down long enough for those Minutemen that were running on their own dime like many of us run nowadays. You see that going to Bundy Ranch right now. Everybody's running on their own dime. A few people are getting lucky and getting some money or donations. But that captain, John Parker, and those men stood before a column and was able to slow that British column down long enough to be able to organize a bigger unit of volunteers, like all of you are, like I am. And then to put it bluntly, that action and the death of those 8 patriots gave the American colonists the ability to, how do I eloquently put this, whoop butt. Then further harass and send them British running and packing. And that was the beginning of the Revolutionary War. The reason Oath Keepers feels a passion for this day is this is our anniversary. This is the day when Stuart Rhodes stood on Lexington Green and pulled this unit together. And the unit is growing more and more. This unit, if you want to call it a unit, this movement is an outreach movement. And we are here to initially reach, teach, and inspire. To remind people that have taken the oath that oath does not have a shelf life. It does not have an expiration date. And that oath, when you hold true to that oath, right, Sergeant West? When you hold truth to that oath, you are protecting not only the Constitution, but by protecting that Constitution, you're protecting our nation and our way of life. Right. This is a Christian Judeo nation. I firmly believe that. We were founded in Christian Judeo principles. Even the format of the Constitution is outlined similar to almost a biblical kind of setup. Right, Father Steve? This is not an Islamic nation. Yet. And if I'm still here, huh? One of my heroes just said, that ain't happening. Mad Max Mullen, Army Ranger Hall of Fame. And he's got a good backup. There's another Hall of Famer right behind him. Hoorah! And if they need to go amphibious, we got Navy SEAL Ben Smith over here. Okay, he'll sneak in late at night. From 1764, if I remember right, all the way up into 1775, we had a series of incidents that instigated and made this nation, this fledgling nation that was about to become a nation, more and more angry. And it was called oppression, it was called tyranny. But there was a long time, a lot of years that people put up with that kind of stuff, right? Right? Sound off.
Too many.
From 1775, April 19th, 1775 to July 4th, or actually a couple days after, it took us 14 months to actually get really, really mad and send a letter to the Magic King over there. 14 months to actually officially declare war against England. So, as we see events unfold today, you see your money being taken more and more, your dollar going less and less further, economic pressure hitting you, your neighbors losing their house. All of it might be a plan similar to what was going on back then. Anybody, raise your hands if you know anything about Cloward and Piven. A well-versed group. That's the script that my magic Muslim friend up there in the Oval Office is going by. I mean the president. Cloward and Piven, that's one script. He's a follower of Stalin. Idolizes Stalin, idolizes Mao. It is very likely in my world, my small brain, the little voices that talk to me every night, it's very likely that he is following a script. Very likely that he is what I just joked about, the magic Muslim, attacking us from within. Very likely he's trying to bring this nation to its knees, collapse it, rebuild it briefly as a socialist nation, and then move it forward into a fascist style of government, all ruled by Islam. 4 years ago when I got in trouble with Fox News and all those people, I had people call me up saying, the president ain't a Muslim, at 3 o'clock in the morning. A lot of those people have changed their mind. Trust me on that. All indications are that he probably is. One primary indication that sticks out in my head is if you convert from Islam, correct me if I'm wrong, I know Ben knows this, you convert from Islam to Christianity or Buddhism, atheism, whatever your new belief is going to be, that carries a death sentence. Just after he took office, didn't he do a tour of the Middle East, bow before other kings? Did he survive that tour? Did Islam kill him? Nope. It's all right there near Mecca. You should have been dead. But also in the Quran it mentions something about, and I always mispronounce this, takir. The art of lying to the infidel. Also in the Quran, which we're getting ready to do a Cajun version of barbecue on one tomorrow for video. Ben, I don't know if he's brave enough to go on video doing it. He just dropped it. I'm talking about cooking it, don't you know? Woo-hee. But it also mentions in the Quran something about it's okay to lie to infidels, and one of the three ways they will take over their enemy or attack their enemy is from within, using their own system against them. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? One more time, let me see a show of hands. Anybody think I'm preaching an untruth right now? You can disagree with me. Does anybody here believe, honestly, that person up there in the Oval Office was properly elected, properly vetted, and has your best interest in mind?
Hell no.
Or do you think maybe he has his interest in mind and whatever he is following? Is that a possibility? Okay, let's fast forward a little bit to the Bundy Ranch. That's been on everybody's scope, everybody's radar, however you want to term it. Those evil terrorists, the right-wing extremists. Oh my God. You're so volatile. Why is it they always go back to one event? Mention some guy named McVeigh, who is, by the way, an Army veteran. No offense. He was an Army veteran. We got bad guys too in the Marine Corps, trust me. Like, let's make one. No, I ain't going to mention that guy's name that's now on his way to Nevada. But it's an inside joke. But they always bring up McVeigh and the Oklahoma bombing. That incident occurred because of another event, or at least in the small mind of that individual who was probably sick and got a couple friends to believe it, like you may think I'm trying to do now, but he instigated that incident because he went out to Waco, Texas, saw what was happening out there when the federal government was overbearing and basically just getting ready to mass murder a bunch of people, right? So that was his justification. In my heart, that incident did not justify killing all those people in Oklahoma City. Not at all. No. But our militia guys, those evil people that are built to, or people are saying are just like that evil McVeigh guy, they're out there at the Bundy Ranch right now. Some of them are standing next to you. Some of them come to my house often. Maybe. I see the CO shaking his head right there. I got you looking. No, seriously. Was it or was it not what happened at Bundy Ranch honorable to date? What happened? Not on the Fed side, just on our side. We the people organized quickly, similar to 1775. We dispatched 2,000 further miles in the aid of another American. Fifth generation Mormon, as the Bundys are. Went out there, stood beside them, not because of religious beliefs. It wasn't a Mormon militia that went out there. It was Americans. It was patriots. It was people like you and I that had, some of them unemployed and had plenty of time. Thank you, Obama, for building our army. Anyway, they go out there and they stand toe-to-toe, face-to-face, some of them a little higher elevations on a bridge, but they all did the honorable thing, and they laid that they had good trigger discipline. They did the honorable thing. They didn't just go out there and get rowdy and go cowboy up and start killing a bunch of federal agents and contractors. No, because we all believe, like John Parker believed, do not fire until fired upon. It walks hand in hand with a belief we also were taught as children in our Christian faith and our Judeo faith. Turn the other cheek, right? And we will stay out there now and we will protect. We're the sheepdog. The militias are, not me personally. I may go out there later. But we will protect. We will be the counterbalance to that tyranny that's being exhibited out there. Now, this is not just one isolated incident where one guy, that crazy Mormon isn't paying his grazing fees. No, it's not isolated. We got a similar incident happening in Texas. Texas militia has contacted me. They may be asking for help. Got another incident in New Mexico. You can Google all this. I'm not going to give you names and dates. Where a constitutional sheriff is even on board trying to protect a person's property, but the federal government's coming in anyway. And that's going to get sticky. And then we got an incident here in Georgia. It's something to do with a mining shack up North Georgia in a closed down mine in the middle of a national forest. There's a huge land grab going on right now. Everybody says they don't make land anymore. That's why I buy it. Right? It's a commodity. You got land, you got power, in the old days anyway. That's kind of where the federal government's mentality is right now. You get the land, you'll get a little more control. You start messing with the kids at school, the Common Core, you get a little more control. You dumb them down. You start telling people they're not allowed to carry into buildings, you get a little more control. Well, they'll just leave the weapon at home. Like we're not allowed to carry an underground, I don't think. Right?
We've done it.
Gun-free zone.
We've done it.
Huh?
We've done it. Yeah. We've done it.
Yeah, that's before they told us we couldn't do it. Oath Keepers is an honorable group. And if you look at some of the Bundy pictures, you'll see a lot of Oath Keepers t-shirts out there. Most of them black and gold. Very good group. 5 years ago, when this magic Muslim took office, he leaked a memo out that led me to start looking for a like-minded group. And that's when I found Oath Keepers. That's when I found Daniel Almond. That's when I found the now President Danny Harrington. That's when I started hooking up with people like John Bigham. And we're finally going to get him in the Oath Keeper ranks. But they had a good message. I liked it. It was a somewhat peaceful message. It was an inspirational message. It was an intelligent message. And it gave us time to figure out or convince their side that we do not really want to go this route by teaching and reaching out. But it also reminded them that we will. We all are veterans. Many of us have seen combat. None of us want to see it again, whether you've seen it or not. We're all mature. Many of us are law enforcement. They saw combat every day on the ground, in the streets. Some are still in and quietly are Oath Keepers. We're doing good. So if you think of what happened today and apply it to what happened 239 years ago, you see a lot of similarities. The only difference is back then we were not a nation. Now we are a nation. Now we have paperwork, title and deed, called the Constitution. That makes us the owners of this nation, not Harry Reid. Harry Reid. We are all domestic terrorists. I got friends out there in Bundy Ranch right now wearing those stickers. A little name tag says, "My name is domestic terrorist." I love them. A little girl named Kimberly, mother of 6, came up with that idea out there. And it's kind of caught wildfire across the internet. But my actions to date, 5 years ago, would never have been used against me to describe me as a domestic terrorist. My belief in the Constitution, my belief in God, does not make me a domestic terrorist. It does not. Now, wait a minute. Somebody that is trying to crush this nation, that might be somebody that's a domestic terrorist. Somebody is pickling off a bomb in Boston at an event such as the Boston Marathon, killing people. That would stick in my head as probably a domestic terrorist incident, right? What? Somebody's running out of their office in Fort Hood screaming, and I can't say these words right because I'm not a Muslim, Allah Akbar. That's a domestic terrorist. But everything this administration is doing is coddling those Islam, and he says only a few of them are radical. On 9/11, 2001, the whole Middle East erupted in celebration when the towers in New York fell. Many cities in the United States where they have little divisions of Muslims throughout the cities fell in celebration when those towers fell. I don't see that as a minority. So, Harry, I'm not a domestic terrorist. And I hope you get this on video. Somebody send it to him. Because I want to make a statement. Is Father Steve still here? You're going to have to forgive me for this. All right, I'll talk to him tonight. But when he categorizes me and my fellow citizens as domestic terrorists, then there's one thing I want to tell him. It's very simple. And maybe Obama's interpreter over there in that country that knows how to do sign language can understand it. This is what I want to tell Harry Reid. It's a Marine thing. Anybody know what this means? Yeah. He can do that too. So, in sentiment with Captain John Parker, I've always ended my speeches, or most times, with something I like to say, that the honorable thing to do is not to start this fight. The honorable thing to do is to allow them to do the dishonorable thing, and then we will finish it. God bless all you veterans. God bless all you patriots. Semper Fi Marines. And Hoo-Yah Rangers.